Live.
Yeah!
Due to some violent content, parental discretion is advised.
Oh, I don't know what this thing is. Greg gets a strip show, dance show.
Work there, dude.
Welcome to
DeaconLive.
DeaconLive.
Live.
Welcome back, guys. On today's show, I got canceled last week, and would you like ramen with that? And good night, sweet prince. And there is a new gas coming out. All this and much more will be discussed here on DeaconLive. How are you? How are things? How are things going? I'm going to fix my headphones here. They got a little conjunctivitis in them or something. All right, there we go. There we go. How are you? How are you doing? You doing okay with everything? Is everything going all right? That's the main thing I worry about, you guys. I want to make sure that you're doing okay and you're getting through all this trials and tribulations. I say it all the time, but yes, you know, sometimes there are some things that we go through in life, and I just want to make sure that you guys are doing okay. I'm doing just fine. When I say just fine, let me explain just fine. So last week, an impromptu, my dad's sister, my aunt came over and spent the weekend with us. Real nice. It was nice time to see them, even though we saw them at my mom's funeral in February. You know, within 45 days, we were seeing them again, and just we didn't really have time to catch up at the funeral, but this time we kind of caught up and asked questions, what's been going on with you, what's been going on with you, so on and so forth. There goes my headphones. There we go. That's better. So she said, you know what, actually, let me backtrack a little bit. So my wife and I, now that my dad's moved up here to the French, now for those of you who don't know, we broadcast just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina, beautiful town we like to call Marshville. We sit on about 22 some odd acres. We have horses, we have chickens, we have cattle. The neighbor's got a new goat, so they've got goats next door, and they've got ducks. And so it's a farm. It's Farmville, basically, is what it is. We just put in our crops and stuff. So it should be interesting. Well, it is interesting. So I said to my wife, I said, you know what, Memorial Day weekend, why don't we invite my dad's brother and his sister up here and their family? And when I say family, husband, wife, that type deal. No kids or anything like that, just adults. So, and my dad's 76 years old, and his younger brother is like 71, and the daughter, I don't even know how old she is, but I mean, or the sister doesn't know how old she is, but she's in that price range. And so they said, yes, we'd love to come up on Memorial Day weekend. So last week or a week ago, a couple of weeks ago, my aunt, my dad's sister, said, hey, we're stopping by. We're going to be traveling up that way. Do you mind if we stop by and spend the night one night? Sure, no problem. All right, come on up, I guess. You guys are welcome to stay here. So we got everything all fixed up, the bedroom all. We had just with the process of my dad moving up here, we just kind of threw boxes in the spare room, got that all cleaned up and everything. And so we're like, okay, well, what time are you going to be here? So are we doing lunch? Are we doing lunch and dinner? Are we doing breakfast, lunch, and dinner? About what time are you going to be here? Now, they came up here, we had a great time, and, we just had a great time. It was nice. It was relaxing. We sat on the back porch, and just kind of chilled. Then next morning they packed up their stuff and we loaded them in the truck, and on the way they went to continue their journey. Now my aunt says to me, I don't want to hear anything about our stay here on your podcast. I'm like, well, I can't promise you anything. Everyone wants to know what goes on in my life for the most part. I said, okay, I won't talk about you guys being here late or getting here late. I won't tell them that you said you were going to be here at 12 o'clock. No, I won't tell them that. And you didn't show up until 3:30. I won't tell them that you had a carload full of food because you didn't think we had food here. I won't say anything about that. I won't. And I won't say anything about how Uncle Mike walks around with a cane and he had to get something in the back of the truck. He jumped in the back of the truck like he was 15 years old. I won't say anything about that, but that's nonetheless. And, I won't say anything about you guys are sworn to a strict carb diet, and you enjoyed our sausage, egg, and cheese, our homemade sausage, egg, and cheese biscuits at the house. I won't say anything about that either. But other than that, Everything was fine. No, it's the little things like that that bring us all together, that make us all human. But that's the little things that I just kind of, not that I'm going to talk about. I just noticed those things. It was just kind of funny. So I hope you guys are doing all right. We got a big show to get into, lots to discuss. So stick around. You're listening to Deacon Live right here on Prophet Radio. I'll be right back. Welcome back to Deacon Live. Make sure you follow us on all your social areas, all your social pages. And the way you do that is go over to Prophet Radio, Prophet Radio. Click on social contacts and you can see all the links that links us to you and you to us as well. Our Facebook feed, our YouTube feed, our Instagram feed, our TikTok feed, and all the different podcatchers that are out there. So if you're listening to us on your podcatchers, you want to share it with someone, fine, great. Do that. We'd love that. And while you're over at Prophet Radio, Prophet Radio, click on the little blue bar at the very bottom of the page. I think it's still on the bottom of the page. That says Be Heard. Opens up a microphone on your tablet, on your PC, wherever you're listening to us at, and leave us a message. Comes right into our inbox, and we'll play it on the very next podcast, so you can be part of the show as well. Now, being part of the show is no more for this right here. The Mars rover, NASA is saying goodbye to the InSight Mars lander. The spacecraft has been battling long and hard with the Martian dust and extracting his umbrella solar-shaped panels, make it increasingly difficult to charge its batteries. Now, in the Tuesday update, NASA revealed the InSight science I can't talk to these people anymore. NASA reveals that the InSight science operations are coming to a close later this summer. By December, they said the lander will have become inoperative. So NASA will say farewell, good night, sweet prince to the Mars InSight lander. It's an unfortunate condition in the conclusion. In otherwise scientific mission, the lander has managed to detect covered more than 1,300 Mars quakes. The lander has managed to detect more than 1,300 Mars quakes to date, using a highly sophisticated suite of instruments, according to the space agency. The InSight has transformed our understanding of the interiors of the rocky planets and staged for further missions. We can apply what we've learned about Mars and inner structure of our Earth and Moon and Venus as well, along with the rocky planets of our other solar systems. The minivan-sized spacecraft landed on Mars in 2018 and has provided scientists with unprecedented data that peers into the deep interior of Mars, along with recording weather data on the red planet surface. So there you go. The Mars lunar lander InSight will no longer be as of summer of 2022. So it went up there November 2018. So that's 4 years. 4 years. But how long did it take to get there? I think it took a couple of years for the thing to get up there, right? Like they launched it in 2016. They got there in 2018. And then it spent 4 years. God, that's a lot of... And that you're just leaving it up there? And then, did you write a note on it or something? Didn't they do some kind of fundraising thing where everyone paid like $100 and they inscribed your name on a data plate that's 1 inch square and it had like 100,000 names on it? You had to need like a double electron microscope to see your name on there. I think that was the support that they have. Now, someone else who needs support is Walmart. Walmart has been, involved in a lot of controversies with employees, ex-employees mostly, leaving there and divulging a lot of their secrets. Former Walmart workers have all taken to social media to make claims about the company and what goes on behind the scenes. At the beginning of this year, 2 different ex-employees posted on TikTok letting shoppers know that the company's self-checkouts are not self-service as they may seem. One warned employees, you can pause the checkout process if you suspect something amiss, like you're stealing something or not scanning something correctly. Another former employee confirmed that the company's self-checkout machines are programmed to display warning messages, just like a number of factors, including age restriction on products, recall items, and missed scans as well. And I've done that before. I'm not paying attention, left hand over right hand, I forget to scan something that goes in the bag, and I legitimately forgot to scan it. And the lady, the head cashier, would come over and just bypass it and let me keep going. So I'm like, all right, well, I guess they don't care if I stole this can of Spam. Only one person would care about that. There's also something else that a couple ex-employees have told us that goes on at Walmart. Now, Walmart, they want, I'm not sure what they're making now. I know they're making well into, 15, 16, 17 bucks an hour starting out. But what are you getting? What kind of employee are you getting? You're not getting anything. No Walmart employee is trained for any of the departments that they put them in. This TikToker claims we don't need experience in that department. We don't get any training. We don't get to know nothing. Nobody knows anything. Okay. Well, we just grow with Walmart according to, Hey Paris is her name. The only exception is Walmart stores have cell phone counters, which usually they get hired from like T-Mobile or something like that. It's not just a lack of training is what this TikToker continues that frustrates the shoppers. Walmart also advises its employees to, quote unquote, read the box for more products and information. We literally read what's on the box because we don't know what we're talking about. For instance, if you go to the electronics department and ask an employee for more information about a certain thing like an iPad or something like that, they will only be able to tell you what's on the box. Now, here's the sad part. A lot of times, a Walmart employee will go, and this is from her mouth, will say, wait right here, let me go get someone else that might know more. Leave, and then you're standing there. They literally leave and go to break. That's what they're saying. Now, here's the thing. They said if you bitch and complain enough to a store manager, well, politely bitch and complain, a lot of times the store managers are obligated to give you either a $25 or $50 gift certificate or gift card for Walmart. So keep that in mind. If you don't get good self-service or good service at all through Walmart. Now, that's the thing. I remember working for Home Depot for 20 some odd years, and Home Depot strives to be the number one in customer service. But yet year after year after year, Walmart wins the number one position for most helpful in customer service. You know why? Because if someone goes out of their way at Walmart, you're not expecting them to do customer service. You're expecting them to point, nod their head, and shake their head yes or no, and then that's it. And they go on about their day and push through the aisles. Home Depot employees, literally, there's a 5, 10, 15 rule that we would follow at our store. I don't know if it's all the other stores. If you see someone within 15 feet of you, make sure you make eye contact with them, okay? If you're within 10 feet, smile and nod and say good morning. If you're within 5 feet of someone, you're supposed to ask them, how are they doing? Can I help you find something? I think that's a good practice. Just in general, when you're out being a human in this world and walking through the streets with your mask on, you really can't smile with your mask on if you're wearing a mask. But for the most part, I think that's a pretty good rule for us as humans, just to 15 feet, kind of make eye contact with someone, and unless you don't feel comfortable, you're like, oh, that guy's a murderer, he's gonna kill me. But so Walmart is basically saying, don't expect anything out of us because we're not going to give it to you. Now, here's the thing. Now, my Walmart, you ready for the gossip? Are you ready for the gossip? So the Walmart that I go to, the one that I don't scan things correctly, there's a head cashier. She's been there on and off for 4 years. Real nice lady. She's an older woman, great personality. She gets it. You know what I mean? She understands what's going on. I always give her a hard time because when I buy my beer, she comes up and she scans this and she always like, are you old enough? I'm like, no, these are for my little brother. I don't drink beer. And she starts laughing. So I asked her a few years back, I'm like, what's wrong with the store? Oh, we haven't had a store manager in a while. Oh, really? What happened? Well, they just can't keep them. They bring them in, they stick around for 3 months and then they leave. And then we're out 6 months without a store manager. Now, fast forward to my last trip to Walmart. I asked her, I'm like, hey, I think her name's Anna. Anna, did you guys get a store manager? Oh, yeah, but he left. I'm like, oh, really? She's like, yeah. He was here for 2 months, and then he put in his 2-week notice, or they transfer him. I don't know, and now we're out of store manager again. She's like, but you want to know what happened? I said, yes, I do. She goes, we got caught for price gouging. I said, what? She said, yes. This store, the one in Monroe, and the one in Charlotte got caught for price gouging. They brought in internal affairs and stuff and was trying to figure out why these departments were making so much more money than the other departments were making this year at that time. So I guess what was happening was every week they were doing price changes in these 3 departments, and they just couldn't stay on top of it. Of course, they can't get an employee to stick around long enough. I don't know why. They make good money, but for the most part, They're busy. They're packing out aisles. They're shuffling their feet. I don't know what they do. They're not helping me is what they're not doing. And she said that they would just guesstimate the price for the next month and just stick it on there and let the price changes catch up to that price. And I said, really? She's like, yeah, we got caught. 3 departments got busted. I said, so what happened? She's like, I think it was like a $2,000 fine. I go, $2,000 fine, that's it? She's like, yeah. I'm like, are you sure it wasn't $200,000? Because if it's $2,000 fine, I'm jacking up stuff in the other departments. If I was a store manager, and to pay for the fine in the other departments. That's what I'm just saying. That's what I would do. That's what I would do. What would you do? We'd love to hear from you. Go to profitradio.com. Click on Be Heard. Let's hear what you have to say about that as well. All right, stick around, guys. When we come back, we're going to find out, is this going somewhere with IT Dan? You're listening to Deacon Live right here on Profit Radio. I'll be right back. Welcome back to Deacon Live. You want something for free? Of course you do. And we want to give you something for free. And the way you do that, you got to do something for me. You have to go over to Profit Radio, click on Free Swag. Fill out that little form there. We got some stickers. We got some magnets. But believe me, I'm not going to hack you or anything like that. I just like to say thank you for listening to us and sharing us. So go over to Profit Radio, PROPHET Radio. Click on Free Swag and fill out the little form there, and we'll send you out some stuff right away. All right, guys, let's find out. Is this going somewhere with IT Dan? Hello. Is it me you're looking for?
Hello, Travis. How are you?
Hello, Dan. How are things?
Not too bad. Just riding in my truck, listening to a story about a broken down vehicle in, like a small town called Marshville.
Right.
So it's bad enough I have to listen to your voice on the show. Then I got to talk to you on the phone. I mean, you're killing me.
Well, I could change my voice if you wanted me to.
No, and you could, but no, it's all good.
Well, what's going on, Dan? How are you? How are things? How was your weekend?
My weekend was pretty good. It was quiet. We had friends over Friday night and made some pesto chicken. Came out really good. We had a nice time.
Do you make your own pesto, or do you? How do you do that?
I buy a jar and I screw the lid off counterclockwise and dump it in the bag and shook it all up and just let it marinate.
All right. Well,
very simple recipe.
You and Chef Boyardee probably went to school together.
Yes. Different schools together. And no, it came out really good. A friend of ours made it for us and same thing. But yeah, I've never made my own pesto.
Dan, if I go to someone's house and they invited me over for dinner and they say, oh, we're going to have chicken pollo de pos pesto Lielvinia. And you're like, oh, God, that sounds fancy. And you if I get to your house and all you're doing is dumping a jar of that Classico pesto sauce on top of some chicken breasts and shake it up in a plastic bag with holes in it and throw it in a pot and cook it, I'm never coming back to your house again, and I'm taking you off my Christmas list.
When I cook things,
you put Spam and ketchup in it.
Yes, no, I will add a bunch of different recipes, a lot of things. Potatoes we made, Kathy seasoned with a whole bunch of individual spices.
Yeah, but she also seasons it with Miracle Whip and relish.
No, not with potatoes.
Oh.
Actually, I think she has put Miracle Whip and potatoes before, just to dab a little bit. So, yeah, and everything. No, it was delicious. It came out really good. I don't know how to make pesto, but you know me. I tell you my recipe.
It's easy. Pesto is it's easy. It's basil, a lot of basil, a little bit of rosemary, olive oil, and a little bit of what's the not lemon juice, like sherry, a little bit of sherry in it, and sherry wine in it, and that's it. You just put it in a blender and go.
Okay, and a bottle of sherry wine would probably cost more than my.
No, it's like $1.79. You only use like maybe a teaspoon.
Oh, okay. All right, I will have to hunt and look for that. So,
I had a friend of mine who went to are you familiar with the restaurant Carrabba's?
Yes, and I like them. I like their food.
So she ordered the chicken marsala, and with the chicken marsala, I'll be back in a minute. Not that, but I mean that's what they kind of portray themselves as. So then the waitress comes back and goes, we can't do the chicken marsala. And my cousin or my friend goes, why? We don't have any more marsala sauce. And so actually it was my cousin. I'm saying it's my cousin. My cousin goes, so you don't have butter and you don't have wine and you don't have mushrooms. And they're like going, no, because that's basically what marsala sauce is. It's just, rendered down wine with butter and, mushrooms and stuff. And she's like, no, we don't have that. And so they literally, everyone at the table pushed back from the table, all stood up in unison and walked out. Never went to, because chicken marsala is like the easiest thing to make. So basically what they were saying is they had it in a prepackaged bag and they were all out of the packaged marsala sauce.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know the chef, if they have one master chef that would be able to do that.
They have one master microwave is what they have.
Yeah, so, well, they may have one person that can cook everything. Hey, there's a Carvana van. I've never seen one before.
Focus, stay on task.
Yes. So, but no, the meal came out good. And there are a lot of recipes. I add a ton of different things too. But that one was one I've never made, pesto, but now I will have to look into it.
Here, I'll look up the ingredients for pesto while you think of something else important to say.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm driving to Harrisburg. I got to meet a friend and drive down to Fort Mill, South Carolina, and pick up some furniture for him. So that's my big job for today. So. And I'm gonna invent some ladle levers. I got some ideas in my head, and I'll send you a picture when I make it.
Here you go. All right. Yeah, I don't care about that. All right, so here it is. Basil, extra virgin olive oil, Parmigiano Reggiano, these words are so tough for me. Pecorino cheese, pine nuts, garlic, and salt. And then, of course, you can add a little bit of sherry wine in that if you want as well. But that's it. That's all it is.
Okay. And the one we get, we get this at a real fine place called Aldi's. It came out good, so but I will look into that.
So wait a minute, you're getting an Italian dressing from a German grocery store.
The Germans don't make everything that goes in Aldi's.
No, but it's a German base. Yeah. Do they? You ready for this? Do they have like a ethnicity section in Aldi's? You know how some restaurants or some grocery stores will have like a Mexican section or Jewish section or something like that.
Yeah.
Do they have something like that in Aldi's?
No, they don't. They have all just.
Nine. No, we don't. We don't have that kind of thing in this location.
Yeah. No, they do. They do not have a section like that in there. But it is still my favorite store.
All right. I still haven't shopped there yet.
Yeah. Can I get serious for a minute?
You can try.
What is going on with that country?
Which country?
The United States.
What about them, Dan?
All these shootings going on everywhere. And it's not just the one in Buffalo. It's over and over and over, mass shootings.
Because we're tired. We're tired of being locked up. We're tired of being lied to.
Who's locked up?
There's still states that say that you can't do this and you can't do that. We're tired of it. We are tired of it. Not that gun violence is a solution to anything, but we're tired of it. We're tired of being lied to. We're tired of being told that this has to happen and this has to happen between all levels of government, whether it's the president or whether it's our local mayor or the dog catcher or whoever.
So who's lying to you?
People think that we are being lied to. That's all. Whether it's true or not, people are taking it upon themselves to not trust the government, any level. Like I said, between the president down all the way to the dog catcher, they're not trusting any level of government right now. And it's not just one side or the other. It's both sides of the aisle. We're just tired of listening to it and not believing it and not trusting it. You know what? They did a survey the other day, Dan, and they said out of all the media sources that are out there, when I say media sources, I'm talking like CNN, ABC, and all that stuff. You know what the number one they had the most faith in as far as media source? Who do you think the number one was that everyone said at 45% believe them more than all the other ones altogether?
From you, I would have to say Fox News.
Nope.
Yeah. Google News?
Nope.
I don't know.
The Weather Channel. They literally 45%, and it's 45%. 45% of people surveyed, and they surveyed over 150,000 people, said that they believe the news or the news that they get from the Weather Channel is more believable, because they do get a little political on there, but not as much as, actual weather, than any of the top three, and that's CBS, NBC, and CNN, or Fox top four. Fox, all the other ones, all those guys. Yeah. They believe the Weather Channel more than anyone else.
Yeah, and they said that they did a study of all the medias, left wing, right wing, all the other ones, and they said 65% of what they got was either misleading, totally untrue, or left out things and, just not true. You know what I mean? And it's from everybody. But, I realize that everyone is, full of shit, but that doesn't make me want to turn around and start shooting people. And it's not I'm not talking about guns. I'm talking about humans. You know what I mean?
Hold on. That doesn't make any sense. You're not talking about shooting people, but you're talking about not guns, but people.
I'm not trying to say this. I'm not trying to have a conversation about we should outlaw guns and guns are bad. I'm talking about I'm trying to have a conversation about people's behavior. What is going on? We never saw this many shootings and violence.
No, Dan, we have seen this much. The problem that we're seeing, people get shot and killed every day. People have car accidents and die every day in a car accident. But what they do is they take whatever the narrative is across the country and they focus on that narrative so it seems like it's happening a little bit more. A lot of people, more people died, let's put it this way, more people die in 24-hour period from car accidents or DUIs or whatever it is than people die in shootings. But because shooting is the hot button thing, like 4 people died in a car accident today, and you're like, they probably didn't know how to drive their car, and you don't. It doesn't cause hate. It doesn't cause a reaction. But then you go, 10 people were shot today, or 3 people busted in a house and shot 2 people. Those are the things. If you ever want to get calls into a radio station, they always say, talk about pit bulls, talk about politics, and they talk about religion. You don't talk about those things because those are 3 top things, and then you start talking about guns, and everyone's up in arms. I believe in guns. I don't believe in guns. So
we have the same number of mass shootings right now as we did 10 years ago?
I'm going to say to a certain point, yes. I'm going to say not as frequently, but we do have somewhat of mass shootings. Just think of like in the early 80s when crack cocaine was running rampant. They would say, 15 people were killed here, 10 people were killed here, Johnny Johnson was shot on the corner of 5th and Elm, but those would they would only make the local news feed. They would never be picked up by at the time they didn't have the national, we didn't have cable. So of course there wasn't like CNN wasn't around yet and Fox, all that wasn't around, but still you don't see other affiliates picking up like, live from Orlando, we're going to go to New York with a shooting that happened on 5th and Elm. They're not doing that. Because that's just the nature of the beast. But there were shootings that are happening all the time in all these little different towns, but they weren't being carried by like I said, of course, cable news came along, and now we have a little bit more information to and fro that we can find out, hey, what's going on in California is not the brush that's being painted across the United States. You're looking at these major cities, you're looking at these major states, Texas, New York, California, Florida. You hardly ever hear about anything in these flyover states. You know why? Because it's not happening. But when you say there's shootings in California, we need to stop gun violence, you're painting the whole entire country like we're just, people over in Europe look at us like we eat breakfast with a loaded gun in our belt every morning.
Yeah. And I mean, it's just sad, and
I'm
hoping our country is better than that.
You are the audience, Dan. You are the demographic that those news articles are focusing on. Because why? Because you said, what's going wrong with our country? There's nothing wrong with the country as far as that aspect. This shit's been going on and on and on and on. Now, granted, yes, I will agree there needs to be a little bit more I mean, when they wrote the laws, of course, they were talking about muskets and keeping the government from actually invading your home. That's why the whole right to bear arms.
Yeah.
Now, yes, I do agree. We do need to modify based on the guns that are prevalent today. But that doesn't matter. People will go, okay, burglars, robbers will rob, killers will kill. But, so that type thing. So that, yes, I do agree that it would be a little bit more, they need to make it a little bit more less easier, if that makes any sense, to obtain a gun. But like I said, robbers will rob, killers will kill, and someone's going to get a gun if they want to get a gun.
Yeah, it just bothers me to see that, and it's like I don't dwell on it, and that's the only thing I look for. And a lot of times I glance through the headlines, and by the time I glance through the headlines, I don't want to look at anything anymore. I mean, it's just
well, and Chris Rock said something, and I've heard a million different talking heads talk about this. Yeah. Chris Rock had a thing in his stand-up routine saying, don't ban guns. Guns don't kill people. He goes,
it's the bullets.
The bullets kill people. Yeah. So I mean,
yeah.
I would tax, it's nothing. It's the same thing like cigarettes. If you want to smoke, by all means, you can have cigarettes all day long, but we're going to tax the shit out of you because it's a detrimental to our health system, our healthcare system. Yeah. We don't want to have to take care of your dumb ass because you want to smoke and be cool and be the Marlboro man sitting on a field out in the desert. And, so, I mean, same thing with bullets. If you want to have a gun, fine. Have a gun all day long. You want to go out there and practice shooting in the backyard? Well, it's going to cost you a little bit to shoot these bullets. I mean, that, as silly as that sounds, that is almost where we're headed to.
Yeah. And we have, and they do tax the shit out of cigarettes. And, I mean, people are going to smoke them. It doesn't, regardless. I mean, people are, dying. My brother's dying of lung cancer and still smoking. Tax isn't going to stop them. Nothing's going to stop them.
But to gain access to them, let's say you're an 18-year-old kid, Dan, and you barely got any money, and you're going to go out. I'm going to be cool. I'm going to smoke. Yeah. And you scrounge up $2 or $3. You go out there and buy a pack of whatever 305s or some kind of cheap knockoff cigarettes. So that's fine. You can do that. But then when you start making those cigarettes cost $20-something, guess what? I'm going to go buy some marijuana and chill out.
I don't know. I'm guessing cigarettes are going for about $12 a carton now.
Depending, a carton? You mean a pack? They're like,
I mean, it's.
Yeah, depending on the state. I know New York has a really, really high tax rate on cigarettes. California has an extremely high tax rate on cigarettes. But yeah.
But that's what's going on. That's been bothering me, all this violence. And
why are you letting it bother you? That's what I don't understand. That's exactly why I don't understand. That's why I get so mad at you that you let this stuff bother you. Why do you even care? Has it crossed your front porch yet? Has it crossed your door, your threshold? Has it crossed your door?
So that's when you start caring, is when someone comes and kills you or kills someone in
No, I start caring when they threaten my life in my threshold, in my facility, where I live. That's why I worry about it.
Yeah, but you're sitting with a gun on your porch because someone's broke down across the street from you.
I'm protecting myself because I don't know what's going to happen. I'm not going over there looking for trouble. I went over there and I said, "Hey, look, you got 2 hours to get this shit out of here, or I'm calling the police." I didn't say you got 2 hours to get this thing out of here, or I'm coming back with a gun. You see what I'm saying? There's a different approach there.
Yeah, I know, but it's just something that's bothering me. That's all I want.
Why do you let it bother you, Dan? Why?
Because this is my country I live in.
I'm right next door to you, Dan.
Yeah, I know, and I try to work, and I worry a little bit of politics, bother all the things that are going on.
You're too wrong. You are, Dan. I hate to say it, you are too old to worry about politics and what's going on in the world today. I hate to say that. You are too old. What the people that should be worried about it is a group of generations that are behind us. Even me, I'm starting to get to that. I'm right now. I'm at it. I'm like, I don't care as long as it doesn't bother me, and I can still continue to wake up in the morning. I can still do my normal daily activities without anyone telling me what to do or what I can't do, and interfering with my everyday life. I'm fine. Now, granted, something happens. close to home, yeah, we get shootings in Charlotte all the time. You don't see me running down there and protesting. You know why? Because there's shootings in Charlotte. I'm staying the fuck away from that place.
But you know what? You can't change the way you are. You are the way you are. Amy's the way you are. Kathy's the way she is. Kathy's still going to go out and buy chairs. And that last chair was beautiful, by the way.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
It was $65.
You should have a chair museum.
I texted her sister because she sent pictures. I said, "Do you think we could have a GoFundMe? Kathy only has 11 chairs." So, but she enjoys that. That's.
But do you understand, Dan? Screw the chairs. I don't care about the chairs. Do you understand what I'm saying? That you're too old to worry about this now. You already had your chance, Dan. Dan, you had your chance. I mean, and I hate to say this, how many more voting cycles do you think you have in you? President-wise, yeah, one. Yeah. You had your chance already.
Yeah.
I have maybe 4, maybe 5 voting cycles left in me. Okay.
Yes, but you know what the problem with voting for president is? You get a choice out of the entire country. They managed to scrounge out the 2 worst people they can find.
No.
The 2 least qualified people.
Nope.
And that's who you vote for.
That's not how it works, Dan. Yeah. Do you understand how it works?
Yes. You donate a lot of money and you
that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is each party has numerous people that qualify to run for whatever party. Even when the incumbent comes back in, there are people still running under his ticket, but they don't make the clearance. They don't make the vote. They don't make the support of the party. For example, if Biden has a way to run again, right? Whether he does or not, I don't know. If he decides to run again for his next term, his second term, believe it or not, there's 4 other candidates in the Democratic Party that are running as well, but they're so far behind. They're not getting the push behind the Democratic Party. They made all the qualifications. They filled out the form. They donated the money. They paid the fees or the fines or whatever the to get in there and got the signatures and all that stuff. But you don't see them. You don't see them up in the forefront.
I know. And what ends up is the people that end up are not the best people qualified. It's just the way our system works. So
now, when you say qualified, do we need to change the way it's
qualified? Can do the best job. No, I don't know what the answer is. I just know every time you turn around and vote, you have to hold your nose while you're voting.
Says you, Dan. Some people, when they look for qualifications, what does it say? What's the qualifications to apply to be a U.S. president? You need to be over.
You have to be born. You have to be born in the United States.
Born in the United States.
You have to be a certain age.
35.
Yeah.
And then what else?
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
That is it. So when you say, these people aren't qualified, do we change the statute as far as what it takes to be a president? No. Now, granted, 9 times out of 10, they're one of 2 fields the presidents are. Do you know what those 2 fields are?
Usually they're from lawyers or business.
They're from they're a lawyer background or a military background.
Well, Trump was neither a lawyer or a,
correct. That's what I'm saying. But they're either from a lawyer background or a military background. Now, granted, there are some people that have snuck through, like Ronald Reagan. But he was a governor, and a governor is basically. Am I giving you history lessons here, Dan? A governor is basically a small president of a smaller form of the United States. So governors have been more likely to be presidents rather than like a business person or something like that.
Yeah, no, governors and senators. No, and I'm
senators. It's very rarely that you see a senator. You'll see a senator be a vice president and then work his way up through the ranks because if he's a senator, they want that state. That's the only reason why Biden was picked to be the vice president for Obama, because he pulled, what was it, Delaware or something like that?
Yeah, but
Rhode Island.
This is my segment, and my feeling is that most of the time we get the people that we get to vote for, when we get to vote for president, both of them usually suck. And you can think
and again, whose fault is that?
Well, I can go and do one vote. It's the system.
Well, you have to. Are you registered Democrat or registered Republican? You don't have to tell me. Are you registered or are you independent?
I'm registered unaffiliated.
Okay, so you.
Because I am voting for both parties, depending on who I think is going to do the least amount of damage.
So when you put I'm unaffiliated, I'm an independent party. Unfortunately, Dan, when you say when you vote for someone, whether it be this party or this party, they both suck.
Yeah.
You can't say anything because you had no way of putting those people in those positions. You have absolutely no right for those positions. No. So when you say
in the primaries, I vote in the primaries.
You can't.
Yes, I can.
For who? If you're unaffiliated? If
you can vote for either party when you're unaffiliated.
I don't know, Dan, because
and I don't vote for party. I read up about them, and I can make my consensus of which person is best qualified.
If you're registered, can you vote in the primaries?
No, if you're unaffiliated, can you vote in the primary?
Oh, if you're unaffiliated. If you are registered unaffiliated. If you're registered Well,
I've done this before. I vote in the primaries every year. I'm going tomorrow. Oh.
Hold on, I'm looking. You may register with any political party recognized in the state of North Carolina. Party affiliations determined by public. You may also register as unaffiliated. If you do not declare a party on your registration application, you will be registered as unaffiliated. Okay, got that. During the partisan primary election, an unaffiliated voter may vote a party ballot only if the party authorizes unaffiliated voters to vote in their primary. Only. Yeah. So that's the thing.
They do that. They do that in North Carolina.
For March 3rd, 2020. Only if they can turn that off at any time. Unaffiliated voters may choose to participate in one party's primary, Democratic, Libertarian, or Republican. Unaffiliated voters, are you over 18, Dan? Over 18 with him? With you on?
No. And I have voted in North Carolina. I voted Republican and I voted Democrat both times. I mean, I've done both ways when in the primaries and in the elections.
Only because they let you.
Yes. I am at my destination, and I got to meet my friend here.
All right.
So I will catch up with you later.
All right.
And I hope you have a good time with all your company when they show up.
Oh God, they're going to be here from Friday to Monday.
Oh, they'll survive.
I don't have enough beds for them. Three of the 7 people that are coming have all had back surgery.
Well, that should be good.
In the last 3 months, too.
But you'll be fine. It will all be good.
I hope. They're bringing their dogs, too, that pee on the floor. All right, Dan, I'll talk to you later.
Okay, take care.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Stick around. We got more coming up. You're listening to Deacon Live right here on Prophet Radio. I'll be right back. Welcome back to Deacon Live. Don't forget, for every podcast we do, we have a matching video as well. And the way you see that is go over to YouTube, search for Deacon Live Podcast, or go to our fanbook page or Facebook page, and you can see us and follow all the links that links us to you and you to us as well while you're over there. Right? Right. Now, from the file of Give Me a Fucking Break, I come across this article. Cars should be banned from parking on pavements because of discriminatory impacts. All right, let's find out who's pissed off about this now. Cars should be banned from parking on the pavement because of the discriminatory impact the practice has on people, according to this report published today in this article that I'm reading right here in front of you. Commissioned by Sustainable Transportation Charity Sustran, the study highlights that people are put off by walking because of large amounts of parked car on the pavement. Okay. Around 70% responded, both disabled and able-bodied, said fewer cars would help them walk or wheel around more. Than half of the people, they said they wanted to see more investment. Hold on, let me read that again. Around 70% of the respondents, both disabled and able-bodied, said fewer cars would help them walk or wheel more, while more than half of the people said they wanted to see more of an investment. I don't know what that means. Parking on the pavement is discriminatory against wheelchair and mobility scooter users, other disabled people, those with visually impaired, and more. The UK government's target is for half of all journeys in towns and cities to be bicycled or walked by 2030. Now, are we working backwards? Are you telling me that you would like to see less cars on the road? I can understand the impact that it would have on our environment. I can understand that, but Joe Biden is pushing towards more electric cars, and we'll get into that here in just one sec. But achieving this would be impossible unless we do more walking and wheeling, and we had more accessibility. And oh God, this fucking article. So what they're saying is, because cars are parking all over the concrete, there's not enough room to walk. There's not enough room for handicapped people to wheel their thing or ride a bicycle or something like that. Is it me, or are we working backwards? No, there's a reason why I have a car, because when I go somewhere, I might want to get something and put it. I'm not putting it on my mule. I'm not carrying a mule around with me and having shit in the street. I'm not sticking it in my backpack. How am I going to stick all my groceries? Where am I putting my groceries? In my little walk behind dolly thing? No. So they're saying that the UK government's budget for cycling and walking right now is £2 billion compared to the £27 billion reserved for the roads. So what they're saying is they want more money spent on walking paths in the UK, a little bit more than the $27 billion they're doing for the roads. Now, I don't know if you've ever been to England, but if England is like here in Marshville, you got to drive a long fucking way to go somewhere, because we have nothing but two-lane country roads to get anywhere to like a major highway. My dad and I took a 45-minute trip to a place that didn't exist. Well, it was on the map. By the time we got out there, we didn't realize that the place was closed or didn't have what we need or something like that. So we had to drive two-lane country roads all the way back home. I was looking for corn seed, to do my fields and stuff. Yeah, it's out there. So are they saying they don't want to have cars parked on the pavement, or they want to have more roads and cycles? More bicycle paths is what they want. They want to buy on your left, on your left. I'm a biker on your left. Now, something that's really out of left field, in Perry City, Iowa drivers have never paid so much to fill up their tanks. You and me both, right? Most retailers are required to provide them a cheaper alternative. On Tuesday, Governor Kim Reynolds signed into law in Iowa that would require in 2023 new retailers would have to provide E15. Now, if you don't know what E15 is, right now, if you look somewhere on your car, it says no more than 10% ethanol. That's what E10 is. This would bump it up in Iowa to bump it up to E15. Now, let me read a little bit more, and I'll tell you what my opinions on this. Existing realtors would also have to offer a blend by 2026. Smaller realtors whose older facilities that would face the high cost from offering the E15 can apply for a waiver. On Tuesday, the AAA reported that every gallon of unleaded fuel reached $4.37 nationally, up $1.41 from a year ago. Thanks. Way to go. The governor says Iowa has become the first state in the country to pass a law like this. And she says that criticizing Biden's administration for encouraging, this is what I was talking about earlier, encouraging electric vehicles is part of the overall energy policy. Unfortunately, a lot of people out there can't afford to go out and buy a brand new electric car, let alone, keep it going and all the other stuff that goes with it. A lot of people have cars based on their duties, on their jobs. A lot of people need to have like diesel trucks and to work and earn a living. So what's happening is they're trying to push towards biofuels. Now, by adding ethanol into gasoline. Now, let me explain something. I don't know if you guys remember in the late 90s, early 2000, they just put in the ethanol. They started adding ethanol to the gasoline. What ethanol is a corn-based or a bean-based product. And what they do is they add it to the gasoline. It's basically adding like water to paint to get a little bit more stretch out of the paint. That's what they're doing. They're adding this corn oil or bean oil, soy oil, to your gasoline to have the gasoline last a little bit longer. But the problem is our motors, for example, the landscape industry. The landscape industry had a huge problem with all their, the two-cycle where you add the little bit of oil to the gas and then you put in your string trimmers. Some lawnmowers have them. Your hedge trimmers, your blowers, all that stuff takes two-cycle oil. What's happening is the motors don't get hot enough to burn that ethanol oil off of there, or the ethanol additive off of there. So what happens is it turns into almost like a gummy, a very light viscosity type honey, and it gums everything up. So then what happens? You got to freaking throw it away for the most part. Then there's also something that you add in there. It's called ethanol shield. And what it does is it actually heats up the ethanol to where it will burn off. Well, now you're right back in the same boat. You're paying X amount of dollars per gallon of gasoline because you're adding this other additive in it so it doesn't gum up your stuff. Boats are the worst thing. Boats that were made in the late 90s, even like the two-stroke motors, ethanol was killing them. Your four-wheelers, your side-by-sides, ethanol is killing these engines. So for Iowa, corn state, why not? Let's bump up the amount of corn oil that we put in the gasoline. That'll help our state, right? We can do that. We have fields and fields of corn, and all the farmers are going to be happy because they're going to be buying more corn. They're being processing all that stuff, but yet it's going to start screwing up our engines a little bit more, even more than what they are now. Now, a lot of trucks, I know the Chevy Silverado's got a flex fuel where it will take an E10 with no problem at all. There is a special burner in there that actually helps the ethanol burn off. But if you don't have that option on your vehicle, you run the risk of causing damage to your vehicle. I'm just saying that's what they're doing. So E15 is coming soon in Iowa. If you're in Iowa, be on the lookout for that as well. All right, guys, stick around. We got more to get into, and we're going to talk about being born twice, and I got canceled at the same time. Stick around. You're listening to Deacon Live right here on Prophet Radio. I'll be right back. Welcome back to Deacon Live. Make sure you follow us on all your social networks, and the way you do that is go to Prophet Radio, Prophet Radio. Click on social contacts. While you're there, don't forget all the music that you hear on Deacon Live, past, present, and future. Go over, and if you missed it and you want to hear the full entire song, or you want to find out who it actually is, and you're like, hey, who's that song that played that thing? Go over to Music Heard on Deacon Live, and it's got a list of all the songs that we've been playing here in 2022. So if there's some songs on there, you're like, I really like that song, you can go over there and click it and download it and hopefully enjoy it as well. Now, everyone has a birthday, right? Some people love their birthday. Some people hate their birthday. Me, I won't get into the details as far as what my birthday was like, but I really don't get into it until I met my wife. She's like, I'm going to make sure that every year you have a great birthday, you get celebrated, and you have a lot of good times. I'm like, all right, good, fine. But this kid right here has two birthdays now, sorta. Let me get back a little bit on it. Jaden Ashlia, a Florida-based fashion, beauty, and lifestyle blogger, explained in a video while she was 19 weeks pregnant, she learned that her unborn son had spiral bifida. While the defect of the spine, it's a defect in the spine and spinal cord, do not form correctly. She said at first there was no hope for a son, but then Jaden got a second opinion and found out an Orlando-based medical team that operates on babies before they are even born. This is called open fetal surgery. The specialist took out Jaden's baby, repaired the neutral tube defect, and put him back inside the womb where he continued to grow for another 11 weeks. So that's the second time he's going to be born. According to the 23-year-old, Jaden, the surgery was a success, but the rest of the pregnancy would be a little bit trickier. She explained it was very common for contractions to happen in preterm labor is always the biggest effect and impact of the surgery. They monitored her very closely for the next 2 weeks. And will be in the Orlando Ronald McDonald House after already being in a hospital for a week. Now, a couple things here. If you don't know what the Ronald McDonald House is, anytime, it's mostly for kids that are battling an illness or something like that, and the parents just, like if they live out of state. They actually, Ronald McDonald will house the parents and take care of the child at no cost. No cost whatsoever. A good friend of mine had twins. They were preemies. And they couldn't afford to like be traveling back and forth to the hospital and back to the home and stuff because just there was so much going on. They qualified for the Ronald McDonald House, and Ronald McDonald took care of everything. So if you ever want to do a donation to someone, and if you're for the children and stuff, Ronald McDonald House is a great way to go. So if you want to see this video, she explains. This is Jada. What's her name? What's her name again? Jaden Ashlia in this TikTok video. Now, for every podcast we do, we have a matching video as well, and you can see this in real time as we are talking about it here on the air. So here she goes. Let's see what she has to say about this pregnancy that she had.
So basically, our son was diagnosed with spina bifida at 19 weeks. At first, we were told that there, is no hope. He's going to be brain dead. He's going to have no life, blah, 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 blah. And then we got more answers, and we looked further beyond those original doctors, and we actually found a team of doctors in Orlando who specialize in open fetal surgery to repair the neural tube defect in the baby's back. And so they basically opened me up like a C-section, repaired the defect in his back to the best of their ability, closed me back up, and then I stayed pregnant for the rest of the time. It's very common for contractions and stuff like that to happen in preterm labor, is always the biggest effect or impact of the surgery, but they monitor you really closely. So the next 2 weeks, I'll be in Orlando at Ronald McDonald House after I've already been in the hospital for 8 weeks.
I guess I assume that everything. Welcome back to DeaconLive. Make sure you follow us on your social networks. And don't forget, for every podcast we do, we have matching video as well. And you can see that by going over to YouTube. Make sure you like and subscribe and do all that stuff. We were doing Twitch for a while. We were doing the live stream and stuff. I kind of backed that off just because, I don't know, I got tired of doing Twitch. We were doing the live stream as well for a while. We kind of backed off that as well. So these videos are recorded live, so don't worry. Hi, you're still getting the same effect. It's just the time of the day that we were doing it wasn't beneficial. We get more hits and stuff later on in the evening, and we do the podcast usually in the middle of the day, which for some people, it's, not capable of watching the video. So I just kind of said, why put myself through that torture of getting everything live and stuff right there on the spot. So we record it live, and you can watch it back at your convenience. Now, as far as my convenience, bear with me. So I've been doing, in some form or fashion, radio or broadcasting or something since 1999. And so I've worked in nightclubs, I've done live events, I've done just about everything other than like actually creating a record, producing a record or something like that. Now, I tell you that to tell you this. So I do the podcast out of the studio here. Now, we broadcast just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina, beautiful town we like to call Marshville. I broadcast out of my garage. And I want to say my garage, it's not a hole in the wall. We have a 3-car garage. And the upstairs, which is where I'm at, is completely finished. Drywall, AC, heat. I've got plugs in the walls, XLR, here we go, XLR cable ports all over the walls. They're all wired in there, the headphones. So I'm not running cords throughout the whole entire studio up here. You just walk over to a chair, plug it into the wall, you're good to go. Sit down, we'll sit there and talk and stuff. I also produce another podcast called Equine Dynamics with Mike Stein, and that's where we take most advantage of all the different ports and stuff. I've got a couple people that sit here in the studio, so if you want to listen to anything about equines as well, check them out. That's Equine Dynamics on iHeartRadio, Equine Dynamics with Mike Stein. And I host that. I'm the idiot, more than an idiot that I am here. So my neighbor next door, he's an American Airlines pilot, captain. He's got 6 kids. So now they're all getting to that age where they're starting to graduate. They're starting to go to prom. They're starting to do all this stuff. And he asked me, because, I do the Prophet Radio, and I used to, work in like nightclubs and stuff. He asked me several times, would you like to DJ? Could you DJ for me? I'm like, you know what? You don't, one, you're not going to like my music. Oh, we'll get you the music. All right, that's fine. 2, I don't want to sit here and I'm in my early to late 30s, and I don't want to sit here and DJ for kids that are like 16, 17 years old, and they come up to me, and I've been out of the loop so long that I don't know any of the music that's out there. Now, granted, I do stay on top of like the current trends, like all the TikTok songs that are out there. People doing the what do they call them? Stitches, the splits. I don't know. They're doing something out there. So I've got a whole catalog of all that music. So I said, you know what? I've got the equipment. If you can find someone to run the board or run the laptop, I'll hook everything up for you and run the board for you. Running the board for a DJ is not that hard when you have a laptop. You just play, volume up, volume down, mic off, mic on. So he couldn't find someone to do this prom. So I said, you know what? I'll help you out. I'll set up the stuff. I'll bring over the live stuff. We'll bring the amps, the PA speakers. I'll do all that stuff. And he's right next door. So I load up the side-by-side and drive everything over there, and I set it all up. And then I hit play. I found the 2022 TikTok's most famous songs, basically the current music that's being played today. So I'm playing, one song here, one song here. The kids start showing up for prom at 6 o'clock, and they're having it, and they've got a huge metal building. It's 42 by 42, and they got all the lights out there. And all the kids are homeschooled, by the way. I forgot to tell you that. All the kids that they have are homeschooled. So this is like a homeschool graduation prom or something. So all the kids are kind of, I don't know. There's not many kids. I mean, there's like 20 kids. It's not like a whole class of like 200 people. No, it's like 20 kids that live in the area that are all homeschooled. And the only time they get together is like when they go on field trips or they go to prom. So here I am, 6 o'clock. I'm setting up everything. And the kids start showing up, and they're eating all the food. They're doing all the stuff. Once they eat and sit down and, they had their drinks and stuff, their lemonade. That's what they had, lemonade. Meanwhile, I'm six deep into a Miller Lite pack over here. And so I'm standing there, and I start playing, just background music, just filler music is what I call it. And then one of the kids comes up and goes, "Hey, do you have Vanilla Ice, Ice Ice Baby?" I'm like, "You bet your ass I do, kid." So I play it, and they're like, they get out on the dance floor. I'm like, all right, this is good. This will be fine. I'm not speaking or anything. I'm just shifting in between songs. That's all I'm doing. Click, 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 play, play, play. Another kid comes up to me, and he's like, "Do you have such and such?" I'm like, I don't know. Let me play. Let me look. So I look, and I find something that's like that. I don't know. I just play it. Then I'm like, all right, and I hit another song. I'm like, oh, they like this one. Ooh, they like this one. Ooh. So I went through like a string of like 4 or 5 songs. And I was doing good. They knew all the songs. Now, let me backtrack a little bit. I might backtrack a lot. These kids are all church homeschooled. Catch my drift? Wink, wink. Nudge, nudge. They all are. It's a religion-based homeschool. So I'm like, all right, and I keep that in the back of my mind, don't play anything bad, don't play anything bad, So I'm scrolling through, and I pick another song. Well, they don't know. Of course, the floor clears out. No one knows the song. I'm like, you guys don't know CNC and the Music Factory? No. So then I go, let me find something else. Ooh, I know this girl and the other girl. It's a duet. I'm like, oh, this, and I know she's popular with the kids. The girls like her songs. Some of the guys might like their songs. Let me find out what I actually played. And in the middle of it, the mom comes over and goes, like, head down, embarrassed, like, and I can't hear the songs. I don't have my headphones on. I'm standing behind 2 big PA speakers, so it's got to bounce off the walls and then come back to me. So I played this one song, and she comes over real quickly and goes, we can skip this one. We can, and she's like trying to yell like over the song. We could skip this one. We could skip this one. I'm like, really? What's wrong? What's wrong with it? And then I didn't think anything. I'm like, yep, no problem. Skipped it and went on to the next song. Then I went back and listened to the song that I actually skipped, like later on the next morning. I'm like, what was wrong with that song I picked out? Let me find out where she at. Where is she at? Where's Lizzo? You guys are already laughing. I can tell. Let's see. Is it here? Let's try this one. No, that's Little Uzi. Where's Lizzo? Let's find it. I think it's Lizzo. Lizzo. Yep, here it is. So this is a song that I played that they completely panicked and told me to come over and say, no, turn that off. So here we go.
They don't know I do it for the culture, goddamn. They say I should watch the shit I post, oh goddamn. Say I'm turning big girls into hoes, oh goddamn. They say I get groupies at my shows, oh goddamn. All the rumors are true, yeah. What you heard, that's true, yeah. I fuck him and you. Yeah.
So by this time, the mom's like, come on, hey, can you, next song, please. I'm like, why? What's wrong with this one?
No loose lips, now them hoes trying to sue me. Bitch, I don't.
She's like, no, something else. So then I slapped on like Billy Joel or something like that. Real quick, real fast. All right, thank you, Lizzo. Thank you. So I just kind of laugh. And so the night went on. Of course, I had a couple more beers. And I was really like, I'm bored. I'm really bored. So I played something, and I didn't realize it had another cuss word in it. Now, the kids are in the middle of the dance floor. They're dancing, jumping up and down. And I think the song said shit. Like right in the middle of it. Clear as day, you could hear a pin drop. It said shit right in the middle of the song. The kids were, religious, homeschooled. They're all dancing in the center. They're all holding hands. Some of them were kind of like, looked at me and go, oh, and they all point to me. DJ played a bad word. I go, me typical being a comedian, go, hey, look, man, I pick the songs. I don't write them. So I potted it down, put another song on. And as I potted it down, I heard like chanting, like prayer chanting. And I looked over and they're like going, please, Jesus, bless those who say in cuss words and blah, blah, blah. And they knew they had something already pre-made. They're all sitting there together in unison. Please, God, Jesus, forgive those who say and cuss and use foul language in the name of God. Everyone love and be holy and amen. And I'm like, amen. Okay. Where is someone who has a laptop with songs on it that I'm allowed to play? Because I did. I asked them if I could play it or if they had music. No, they don't have any music. All right, fine. You get what you get, right? So that happened. I boxed everything up at 11 o'clock and I packed everything up and I took everything back home. They said, thank you very much. We appreciate you. And so on and so forth. So yesterday, I tell you all this to tell you this. So yesterday I'm out in the yard and we're laying in the crop fields. Like I was telling you, I got my shirt off. I'm out there with the tiller. I'm out there with the hard rake. We're getting the cornfields lined up and stuff. And I get a text message from the neighbor saying, I was supposed to do another prom. One of their other kids is graduating from college. I was going to do their graduation party tomorrow, meaning Thursday. Cancel. Party's canceled. And I kind of texted him back going, it was me, right? It was me. I did it. It was totally my fault. No. I'm like, yeah, it was me. Sorry, guys. I let you down. He physically came over with his daughter who was graduating from college, and this is their graduation party. He said, no, look. We decided at the last minute that we were going to invite all these people over, and a lot of them, it was last minute. A lot of them canceled out. There's only going to be like 5 people here. We're going to do something else. But no, you're fine. Everything's good. He's very, apolitical. He's trying to be as vanilla as possible. And he's like, no, everything's good. I said, are you fucking sure? No, I didn't say that. Are you fucking shitting me? I didn't say that. But I'm like, okay. But in the back of my mind, I saw the looks on their faces and the mom's face when she came over and she literally was like going, oh my God, turn this off. And when the kids were chanting or praying together in the center of that dance floor, those are the images that stick in my mind. And that plays in, of course, in a loop in your mind. You're like going, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? And so we'll see. I don't know if I'm going to be invited over there for anything ever again. Well, nonetheless, they're great neighbors to have. All right, guys, stick around when we come back. You'll be surprised. Another TikTok person has gone viral for just filming her turtle, but it's not what the turtle is, it's what it does. Stick around. You're listening to Deacon Live right here on Prophet Radio. I'll be right back. Welcome back to Deacon Live. Make sure you follow us on your social networks, and the way you do that is go over to Prophet Radio, PROPHET Radio. Click on social contacts. Find all the links that links us to you and you to us as well. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, all those other pages. Make sure you like and subscribe and share us as well. And get yourself something for free while you're over there. Fill out the little form there on the free swag section. Put your name and address and stuff. Don't worry, I'm not going to do anything with it. I got enough shit going on. Being canceled left and right here. And we'll send you out some magnets, some stickers. We have some buttons and a bunch of other stuff. So fill that out and we'll send it out to you right away. And what I was talking about earlier, I did, one of the clubs I did DJ at was a strip club. So maybe those tendencies came out somewhere. I don't know. In my defense. So Burger King is doing a lot of weird shit here lately. Burger King was offering something like 9 different new Whoppers available for like one day that had like pineapple and peanuts on it, kale and avocados, which doesn't sound too bad, I guess. Not raw kale. Ooh, it's bitter. I think there was, what else was there on there? I think a fried egg and bananas was on one. They called it the Pregnancy 9, and it's available for one time. But here's something that they're doing right now. Don't expect an extra. Don't expect a side of fries with your next Whopper order from Burger King. The iconic fast food chain is currently ditching the fries and in favor of dried ramen and combo meals. That is now the consistency that consists of hamburgers, drinks, and ramen. According to Sora News 24, which they reported that the odd fry alternative is currently being offered at Burger King in the Japanese locations. The new combination meal is dubbed the Diotaya potato, or translated sorta potato. It sets aims to provide a salty, starchy satisfaction next to the bag of fries despite the spudless status. Set to be available in Burger King Japan locations for a limited time beginning this Monday, May 16th. The combo gives us, the guests, a chance to score one of the several different hamburgers as well as a drink and their choice of a bag of Baby Star Dokai, Dotokai ramen on the side. The ramen is described as a crunchy, dry noodle snack. So almost like, what are the potato strings? The ones that you put on your salad sometimes. They're like a long potato sticks. That's what they are, sort of, but they're ramen. The dried ramen is on the menu, not inactive for a massive overhaul, but what they're doing is they're just trying to ditch the fries and try the ramen because it's more social in the Japanese culture to have ramen rather than French fried potatoes, which makes sense. So if you're over in Japan, take a picture of your side of ramen and send it over to us. And the way you do that, you can email me at any time, deacon@prophetradio.com. Even if you've got other questions or something you want to share with me, I'd be happy to answer them. Now, baseball season's happening right now. It's no secret that the major league teams are all paranoid with people stealing signs and suspicious sign stealing. Even if you're a pitcher, they puts you at a technical disadvantage. Hold on. It's no secret that the major league teams are all paranoid. Whenever there is an even slight suspicion of sign stealing, they try to avoid this. This is exactly what happened this past Tuesday at Craig Kimbrell against the Arizona Diamondbacks. So what happened was there's a play. It's not a play. It's a penalty is what it's called. And it's called a balk, B-A-L-K. What that means in baseball terminology, for whatever reason, if you're in the middle of a pitch, you're the pitcher on the mound, and you stop your pitch in the middle of your pitch, it's called a balk. That means you're giving the batter false hope, you're giving the runners false hope, and that way you can basically cheat and throw the guy out. So what happened was in this play, he had a runner on second, and they're doing something. You know how the catcher does the 1-2 between his legs and inside or outside? He was afraid that the guy on second base was going to see the signals and transfer it over to the batter so he knows what's coming up. Now, something I did not know that they have something called PitchCom, and I guess it's a microphone in the guy's ear or a headset, and the catcher's got a microphone saying, hey, fasten inside or something. He gives them a code word, and that's what they do. But the Diamondbacks opted for the old school 1-2 finger slider pitcher, whatever like that. So what the pitcher on the mound did, Greg Kimbrell, did an unintentional balk. Now, what happens when you get a balk? It just advances the runners to one base. So here we go. If you want to watch this, for every podcast we do, we have a matching video. You can see him intentionally do a balk. So here we go.
Another comeback win, looking for another tight win. Kimbrell trying to balk Perdomo over. He successfully does here.
So if you want to see this, watch him. He drops the ball on the ground.
For another comeback win,
Boop.
looking for
Whoops.
another tight win. Kimbrell trying to balk Perdomo over. He successfully does here.
So what he does is he puts his foot on the rubber. That means he's in ready to pitch, drops the ball on the ground intentionally. And what it does is advances the runner over from second base to third base. So the runner can't steal the signals that the catcher's giving him. It's just a weird play. It's the mechanics of baseball, and it's called the balk, and they just executed that perfectly. You don't get penalized other than they move the runner over. There was already 2 outs, and the guy had 2 on him at the plate, so they were getting ready to hopefully strike him out, and he just didn't want the guy knowing what was coming up next. And last but not least, if you want to see this video, now would be a good time to go over to Prophet Radio. Click on or go over to YouTube. Make sure you like and subscribe us there. For every podcast we do, you can see this video as well. Ethel is a 6-year-old tortoise with nearly 80,000 followers on TikTok. She has a strict 5 o'clock bedtime. That's right, 5 o'clock. This mom must be living her life sitting back and relaxing without the worry of getting Ethel to bed because Ethel does it all by herself. In a recent clip that I'm going to play for you right now, Ethel is making her long, slow journey to the bedroom oasis. This setup is adorable. You won't believe how she gets so comfortable. Now, Ethel is the cutest Ethel is the cutest, and boy, we are shocked how long she can sleep. First of all, she has curtains for her bedroom door. Then she uses a pillow. Absolutely precious is what this article says. So if you want to see this video right here, I'm going to click on it. Go over to YouTube and you can see this with me as well. So here she goes. Hold on. Ethel's bedtime routine. Every night, she puts herself to sleep around 5 o'clock. Here she is walking taking a little stroll through the courtyard here at her house. God, they're such weird creatures. They're so prehistoric looking. Her bed is under our bed. So what they've done is they created like this little cubby hole. It's got like blankets and pillows in it. And she kind of just snuggles right in. Here she goes. 5 o'clock every day. She will rest there all night long. Yeah, it took her half hour to get over there. She's beat. She gets up on the little mat there. She doesn't snore, but sometimes she toots in her sleep. Turtle farts. Gross. And there she is. Look, she's laying in it just like a dog would. She's not a dog, like a dog would lay in a bed. Her head's on the pillow and her arms are all stretched out. Good night, everyone. Aw, Ethel, 6 years old, takes herself to bed every night at 5 p.m. This is her little routine. She walks through the courtyard and tucks herself into sleep. How adorable is that? And you can see that. Hold on, let me put up her thing so you guys can see that as well. You can go over to Ethel the Glamour Tort over on TikTok, and you can see all the videos that she has there as well. And we'd like to thank each and every one of you for joining us this evening, this afternoon. Make sure you like and subscribe and share us. Make sure you follow us on all your social networks and get yourself some free stuff. And while you're over at Prophet Radio, make sure you fill out the little form there, get yourself some free swag, and we will send it out to you right away. On that note, guys, I'm going to let you get back to what you got to do. My name is the Deacon saying good night. Good night.
Wait. Come back.
This is the end. The absolute end.
Écoute-moi.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.